Adriano, we are on the second day of the opening for the press. So what's your feeling about what you have done with more than 300 artists?
So I am, of course, very happy with the results because above all the artists are very happy as well. And I think the Biennale can always offer this transformative, hopefully a transformative experience for many artists. And but in terms of understanding what the show really means and what the show, the finished show actually can, what I can learn from the finished show, because I do believe it's quite different to plan things, even if you plan them very specifically and very precisely, as I often do. Each room, for example, is like we have plans and layouts and selecting the words.
And one can see that you work on the hanging.
We work quite a lot on the hanging,
which is not so common in Biennale.
When work by work, I do it like today. We were saying 19 centimeters, 18 centimeters, because today I was just installing a couple of works that came in late just this evening, and I think I really do believe in seeing the works in real life in the exhibition. I did see the majority of the works in person, particularly the historical works. Of course, I had not seen the new works, and there are many new works in the exhibition that the artists worked in, especially for the Biennale. But for example, the historical rooms, which of course all of the works existed already, I think there's much to learn from that, and I myself am still taking in what all those juxtapositions and dialogues and conversations actually mean, right? I think that's something that I will need to go back and process. I of course have seen the finished installations,
yes,
but I think it's learning from the physical presence of these juxtapositions. And I'm looking forward to doing that in the coming months, because I think it's important to learn from the actual work, not just an image, not just a plan, not just a project, right?
To live the work.
Yes. So I think I really believe in that, and I really enjoy that, and something that I really love to do, to look at the actual work. And then there are works, of course, that we were installing through the last, week, of course, and just seeing certain conversations that may occur.
But I think you have made some statement. For example, Puppy in the garden, it's super.
That is
I interviewed the artist, she's great.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, and that's a big statement.
That is, that's wonderful. It's very curious, because it's seemingly very classic and traditional when you look from a distance, right? But as you approach it, you see how radical it is, right?
And also she takes risk a lot.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's extraordinary.
I love so many of the artists. I love all the artists, really.
But for example, Louis Fratino, you really love.
I really love
I think he's also really fantastic.
That's a very special room, because sometimes it's perhaps not so clear for everybody. But that's a room that I put together with him, in conversation with him, and he told me there are a number of artists that are very important for me. And De Pizis is one artist, and Bhupin Kakar is another artist. Bhupin Kakar, the Indian artist, who then has one work in that room. And De Pizis, Filippo De Pizis, the Italian artist, both these artists no longer alive, have two sort of sets of works. So it's really put together with him.
A dialogue
with these queer historical figures. Yes, so he has a very special presence.
Yes, and you put him twice in the Giardini, at the entrance, and a room almost dedicated to him.
A room almost dedicated to him. Well, we have other rooms almost dedicated. Gabriele Goliath has a room almost dedicated. Many of the video artists have rooms solely dedicated to them. And
but Luis Fratino is very young artist, but he's very talented.
Yeah. But we have artists with multiple works. such as Chola Poblete, young Argentine indigenous artist, queer artist.
And what you reply to all the people saying, what can we learn from the past in your exhibition?
I hope lots of people are provoked by so many different works by 330 artists. I think I am proposing a revision of what the 20th century was in terms of modernisms in the global south. Right?
You try to cure the past?
I try to, it's not just up to me. No, I do think the Biennale is somehow paying a debt to so many artists, so many extraordinary artists that never participated in the Biennale. Today I was talking to a Brazilian, and he says, wow, but all those Brazilian figures are very canonical figures. Yes, I said, yes, and that's the case of many of the artists from all these different...
But you didn't put Adriano, my lover.
No, because we went through the 20th century. But you see, many of these artists are, in the Núcleo Histórico, are canonical figures in their own countries, in their own art histories, but they're only known within that particular history. Of course, some artists now are getting more attention internationally. Raza, who is the wonderful Indian artist, had a show at the Pompidou. Many artists such as Salwa Shuker, Ibrahim El Salahi, Farenissa Zaid, and even Bhupen Kakar had shows at the Tate in the past decade or so. Even Amrisha Shergill, the Indian artists, but they still remain very unknown. And most importantly, they were never exhibited together, right? So it's like when I ask, even someone from Brazil, I was just talking to this person who's a dealer, and I said, do you know any of the 20th century modernists from Peru, from Colombia, from Ecuador, from Bolivia? So I hope people will learn from that as well as the many contemporary artists, as well as the indigenous artists, so many extraordinary indigenous artists that need visibility, that need to, have their work more widely known. We have two indigenous artists, two collectives, greeting the public at the opening of the Arsenale at the Corderie with Matahu, the Maori collective from New Zealand, with a very architectural, seemingly architectural installation, but also drawing on weaving, on traditional Maori weaving, if you look at the details, right? And then with a very different work altogether, the Matahu, the Maku collective of Huniquing artists from the western part of the Amazon, who painted the very large-scale mural facade of the central pavilion that again greets people in these two main venues, of the international exhibition. So I hope people will learn, people will feel provoked, and will take some of these artists, some of these works further in developing other projects, other collections, be them other texts, other studies, other researches, be them art
That's
historians,
a lot to do,
critics. But that takes a while. We'll see how it unfolds, If these artists, if other curators and critics and writers might find interest in them, in writing on them, and doing shows of them. Many of these artists, need so much attention and recognition and visibility.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
Obrigada.
Obrigado.